Today we're making faux stained glass on a sheet of plastic. First, we're going to use a Sharpie to outline our design. We're making a sun. We're going to start in the middle and we're going to make, I call it the shape of a rainbow, somewhere in the middle here. So it's like a half of a circle. Now, since we're using a Sharpie, if you make a mistake, you can use a cotton ball and some rubbing alcohol, and you can simply erase it like that. Just wanted to show you. Okay, so it does come off. And then all you do is let it dry. Or you can take a napkin and wipe it clean before you draw on it again. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how to erase it real quick. So just try your best and don't worry, because if you make a mistake, you can change it. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to make the shape of like a half of a circle or a rainbow. Okay. I'm going to stop right about there. All right, and now I'm going to make rays of light coming off of this. After you make the shape, we're going to make these bursts. So we're going to go, I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to make one like this and one like that. And then I'm going to make another one to here. We're just going to let them fall off the edge. I'm trying to make them about the same width, but they could all be a little different. It's okay. Okay, and then I'm going to make some waves. So right across here, it's not going to be straight. I'm going to start here and I'm going to make a wave. And remember, I said you had your little eraser if you need it. Gotta let it dry for a minute. Okay, and this one, I'm gonna make it go down to here. So it goes off the edge. These are gonna be a different color. I'm gonna do another one here off the edge. Okay, now I can probably go back in there. Yep, finish that. Okay, and then I wanna make some other shapes in here. So I'm going to start here and go like this. And then I'll go here, down. Like that. Okay, so now we have all of our shapes and we have our sun. We are finished with the marker, and we are going to use glue, but we're going to put black paint in here, and this will be our leading for the stained glass. This is a 2-day project because we need for this first step to dry before we move on. So I'm going to start by outlining with my glue all of these black lines. Okay, we'll start here, and you're just going to squeeze and pull. All the way down. Trying to do this without getting my hand in your way of seeing. Just go slow, take your time. So all I did was take a little bit of black and I squeezed it in the glue bottle that wasn't full, and I shook it up. You don't really need that much to change the color of the glue. But what's cool is when this dries, it'll be thicker and bumpy like stained glass. When you touch it, it won't be flat. Now I'm going to do the arch that goes like this. You're doing a lot of squeezing with your hand, so if you need to shake your hand out and give it a break for a second because you are using a lot of muscles in your hand for this, you can do that. You need to pause it. Okay. Now I'm going to start over here with the hill. But it's better to start at the top and then work your way down so that you don't accidentally get your hand in the wet glue. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Now I'm going to work on this hill over here. And I'm going to shake that hand out. You can do this project at home with any design. And if you want, you could even sketch it on paper first and then stick the piece of paper underneath the clear plastic. And then you don't have to worry about erasing mistakes. Same thing with the glue. If you make a mistake, you can just use the rubbing alcohol and wipe it off. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and outline the entire picture with my glue. This is really cool. It's something you can put into a frame, an open back frame if you want to later, or just hang it on a window. But I'm just going all around the edges. If you notice with stained glass, there are no floating lines, which means every line touches another line. We're almost there. We're getting there. Shake that hand out. I know my arm is probably in your way on this top part. I will move in a second, but you get the idea. You're just going straight across. You get one more section. And connect it to this corner. There we go. So now we're going to let this sit. We have to let this dry, and then we'll come back and we'll fill in all the spaces with our colors to make it look like stained glass. So make sure you close your glue so that it doesn't dry out, and we will just take a break. Okay, so it's dry, and we are going to get a little paint palette, fill it with clear glue, and then I put a little drop of yellow, a little drop of orange, blue, and phthalo green, and you're just going to go ahead and mix that up. A little bit of paint goes a long way with the glue, so I'm going to start with the yellow and we're just mixing it up. Okay, and then once you have it all mixed, we're going to start with the sun, and we're going to spread this out inside our sun. It has a different consistency of paint because of the glue. If you get a little bit on the black, it's okay, you can just wipe it off. Just going to go ahead and spread that out, getting as close as I can to the black edges there. I'm going to outline it all first. And again, like I said, you can just wipe it off if you get a little on the black. Okay, so I got it all outlined. I don't want it too thick, so I'm just taking this paint and moving it around. And I'm trying to make long brush strokes when I do this, because you will be able to see the brush strokes through it. So that's why I'm trying to make them all go in the same direction. Okay, and now I'm going to start with this one. And now I'm making my brush strokes go in the same direction of the lines. As close as I can there. Okay, I'll finally load my brush back up with some paint. So because we mixed it with the clear glue, it's going to be a little transparent. So we're going to be able to see, it's not going to be totally solid. I'll try and hold it up again and show you. See that? Okay. I'm going to skip a space and then go to this one. And now my brush strokes are going kind of on a diagonal towards this corner. We have two of them done. And then I'm going to skip these two. Oops. And then I'm going to move on to those. Definitely don't want any big blobs here. It's better to start with a thin layer. You could always add a second layer if you want it darker when you're finished, but I like to start with a little. You could always add more. Okay. So now we're finished with our yellow. And I'm not going to wash my brush off because the next color is darker. But like I said, you can always add more. Like if you look at this, I made the sun, the center of the sun, a little darker. I'm trying to lift it up so you can see it. If you like it darker, you can just do a little more yellow. I'm going to leave this darkest and then leave those lighter. Now I'm going to take my brush, even though it's dirty, and mix up the orange puddle in the clear glue. And then I'm going to start right here. I feel like you could see the brush strokes a little more on the orange, so I'm just gonna go over it again and make sure that I like the direction all my brush strokes are going in. Like that. Put it up so you can see it. And then I'm going to move on to the middle. And again, I'm just going to go back through this one and make sure that I like the way my brush strokes look. Add a little bit more paint. And then we got the last one over here. Oh no! We're going to call that a happy mistake. Just brush it in there. And guess what? We'll make them all match. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I dropped a little bit over there, so I'm just going to smudge a little bit of orange so they all match. There. Never know I made a mistake. Oops, sorry, I'm moving on you a little bit here. There we go. All right, and again, just make sure that you go through it and even out all your brush strokes. Okay, so now it's time to wipe our brush off because we're going to switch colors. I just gave it a quick wipe off. And I'm going to dip my brush in the blue. mixture. So you're going to need to mix up that puddle of glue with the blue. So I'm just mixing it up. Mix, mix, mix. And okay. So I'm going to do blue here. It's a pretty blue. Just gonna go over it till I like my brush strokes, and then I'm gonna move on. I'll do another one here. Even though we're painting on a sheet of plastic, it's very similar to painting on glass, where you see all the brush strokes. And it takes longer to dry too when you paint on glass and plastic. You notice I'm not painting up and down, kind of following the curve of the hill. And your shapes, when you drew it, might look different than mine. So just spread the blue out, try and give some space for the other color, and put it wherever you want. Okay, I'm going to put a little more here. Just felt like it needed to be a little darker. I feel like I need a little more over here. Okay, and I'm not going to wipe my brush off. I'm just going to dip it right into the last color and mix. It's called phthalo green. It's like a blue green. And that's going to fill in all the spaces that I have left. Ooh, that's awfully light. I think I'm going to add a little bit more paint to it. That's too light for me. So I'm adding a little more paint. I'm going to mix that up. All right. So you see we have our warm colors at the top and our cooler colors at the bottom. Okay. Almost finished. All right. I'm going to add a little bit more blue over there where it kind of pulled away. So I'm just going to wipe my brush. See if I can get a little blue in there. Okay. Now we let it dry. And this should be a good amount of paint, but it's your project. So once this dries, if you feel like you want it a little darker, feel free to do another coat. I'm going to try and lift it. See how transparent it is for us. Ah, so cool. I'll take a picture of it once it's dry so we can get another look at it. I hope you had fun today. See you later.